All right, Cleaver, outside.
I'm sorry? Outside? Should I bring my dueling pistols or my sword? All right, hang on.
I should have done this years ago.
Done what?
This.
Oh! Fuck me, that hurt. Oh! What the fuck do you think you're doing?
This.
Oh, Christ, not again. Oh. Fight! What? Fight? Oh, quick! It's a real fight! Fight!
Hello everyone, I'm Anna, your cinephile host. Have you ever had a question about how to distinguish a player and a cheater from a decent lover? Some said that a cheater speaks pleasing words while a decent lover speaks dull. In the movie Bridget Jones' Diary, Hugh Grant interprets the character of a cheater so realistically, while Colin Firth plays the decent one, exposing his dullness and uprightness. And of course, Renee Zellweger successfully plays the struggling Bridget Jones, a confused, smart woman looking forward to finding her Mr. Right. Bridget Jones is 32, single, engagingly imperfect, and worried about her weight. She works at a publishing company in London where her main focus is fantasizing about her boss, Daniel Cleaver. At her parents' New Year party, Bridget is introduced to Mark Darcy, a lawyer. Mark finds Bridget foolish and vulgar, and Bridget thinks Mark is arrogant and rude and is disgusted by his novelty Christmas jumper. She even overheard Mark grumbling to his mother about her attempt to set him up.
Apparently, she lives just round the corner from you.
Mother, I do not need a blind date, particularly not with some verbally incontinent spinster who smokes like a chimney, drinks like a fish, and dresses like her mother.
Yummy. Turkey curry. My favorite.
Following this setback, Bridget decides to turn her life around. She begins keeping a diary to chronicle her attempts to stop smoking, lose weight, and find her Mr. Right. Bridget and Daniel begin to flirt heavily at work. At a book launch, Bridget bumps into Mark and his colleague Natasha. After the gathering, Bridget leaves with Daniel and they have dinner.
Now look, how do you know, Arcee Darcy?
Apparently I used to run around naked in his paddling pool.
I bet you did, you dirty bitch.
What about you?
Same, yeah. No, I was best man at his wedding. Knew him from Cambridge. He was a mate.
And then what?
And then, nothing.
You don't need to protect him, he's no friend of mine.
Well, then, many years later, I made the somewhat catastrophic mistake of introducing him to my fiancée. And, I couldn't say in all honesty I've ever quite forgiven him.
Bridget and Daniel start dating and go for a mini break weekend together. They spend the day at a county inn where Mark and Natasha are also staying. However, the next morning, Daniel says he must return to London for work and leaves Bridget. When she returns to London and drops in on Daniel, she discovers his American colleague, Laura, naked in his flat. Bridget cuts ties with him and quits as soon as she lands a new job.
Lots of prospects for a person who, perhaps for personal reasons has been slightly overlooked professionally.
Thank you, Daniel. That is very good to know. But if staying here means working within 10 yards of you, frankly, I'd rather have a job wiping Saddam Hussein's arse.
After Daniel left, Bridget started her new job at a television station. On one occasion, where she's the only single person in the room, Mark privately confesses to Bridget that he likes her and helps Bridget to have an exclusive TV interview in a landmark legal case which boosts her career.
Mr. Darcy, you were defending Miss Stragani. You must be delighted.
Yes, well, Kafir Agani has spent his entire life defending the basic human rights of his own people, and today's verdict has been the result of 5 years of struggle by this woman, Eleanor Heaney, to save the man she loves from an extradition order that would have been tantamount to a death sentence.
Right. And Eleanor, over to you. Did you fancy Kafir the first time that you saw him? This has been Bridget Jones for Sit Up Britain, with, let's face it, a bit of a crush now, actually. Good afternoon.
Bridget Jones, already a legend.
Bridget begins to see Mark in a different light, and when she attempts to cook for her own birthday dinner party, Mark comes to her rescue. Unexpectedly, a drunk Daniel arrives as well and temporarily monopolizes Bridget's attention. Mark then leaves but returns to challenge Daniel, and the two fight on the street.
I should have done this years ago.
Done what?
This.
Fuck me, that hurt. Oh. What the fuck do you think you're doing?
This.
Oh, Christ, not again.
Bridget sympathizes with Daniel in their fight, though she dumps them both after the duel. When Bridget's mother reveals the truth behind the grudges between Mark and Daniel, Bridget confesses her feelings for Mark. At last, Mark gives up his engagement and returns to Bridget, and buys a new diary for her after he unintentionally peeks at the old one, finding her older, unflattering opinions of him.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. I mean, I meant it. But I was so stupid that I didn't mean what I meant. For Christ's sakes. It's only a diary. Everyone knows diaries are just full of crap.
I know that. I was just buying you a new one. Time to make a new start, perhaps.
Obviously, Colin Firth, Mark, is Mr. Right for Bridget. But do you believe that Bridget might sometimes miss Hugh Grant or Daniel once in a while and wish for him to become an honest man? Hope you know what I'm saying. It's not about love, but more about pity and being sorry. Anyway, I think that Bridget Jones' diary explicitly translates the thinking of an unmarried woman in her 30s. What do you think? I'm Anna. Thanks for watching this episode of Cinephile. You can find more on Funday website. See you guys there.
So how do you feel about this whole situation in Chechnya? Isn't it a nightmare?
I couldn't give a fuck, Jones. Now look, how do you know, Arcee Darcy?
Apparently I used to run around naked in his paddling pool.
I bet you did, you dirty bitch.
What about you?
Same, yeah. No, I was best man at his wedding. Knew him from Cambridge. He was a mate.
And then what?
And then, nothing.
You don't need to protect him, he's no friend of mine.
Well, then, many years later, I made the somewhat catastrophic mistake of introducing him to my fiancée. And, I couldn't say in all honesty I've ever quite forgiven him.
God, so